Hi. Today I'd like to share with you one of my stories. And we've had a lot of rain lately, and so I thought I'd make it about the two raindrops. So once upon a time, there were two raindrops. One was called Ernie, the other was called Fred. They floated around the world, looking down at all its wonders in a kind of spaceship called a cloud. Ernie would lean over the edge and watch in amazement and excitement as the world passed beneath him. Fred was very nervous and kept away from the edge. One day, Ernie suggested to Fred it might be time for a new adventure. "Oh no," cried out Fred. I hate heights, and I hate jumping off the edge of the cloud into space." "That's the beauty we call rain," replied Ernie. "We all do it together." And so all the raindrops took one big jump off the cloud. Ernie whistled and yahooed all the way down until he splashed into a puddle of his friends. Fred, terrified, held his breath and just shuddered with fear as he fell helter-skelter down into the wet mud below. The raindrops quickly assembled into puddles that widened until they made small streams which slid across the earth. "Yahoo!" yelled Ernie in complete delight as he splashed about. "Oh, no, 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 no," spluttered Fred as he tried valiantly to keep dry. Soon the streams turned bigger, and Ernie found himself bouncing off one rock after another. "This is so much fun!" he screamed with joy. Fred did everything he could to avoid hitting the rocks, and the only sounds he made were "ouch! Ah! Oh no! No! Ooh! Ee!" Suddenly Ernie heard the sound of a roaring waterfall, and a moment later Fred did too. Ernie was beside himself with joy. Fred was beside himself with fear. "A waterfall, Fred!" yelled a delighted Ernie. "Let's avoid it, please," pleaded a terrified Fred. But avoidance was impossible, and soon the two raindrops found themselves tossed into the air and then down into the thunderous noise of the foaming current. Moments later, the two friends bobbed up beside one another in the rushing waters of what had become a wild river. This was an adventure for Ernie each time it happened, but it remained a nightmare for Fred every time he experienced it. The river widened, slowed, calmed, and eventually made its way out into the open sea. Ernie lay on his back and soaked up the sun, whilst Fred dog-paddled frantically in order to keep up. "This is the life, Fred," called out Ernie as he floated along, gazing up into the deep blue sky. Fred was too busy trying to keep close to his friend to be able to answer. The sun bore down upon the two raindrops until Ernie caught an upward current. Quickly grabbing Fred, the two gently floated in a gentle circular pattern up and away into the heaving ocean, away from that heaving ocean, into it and up over it, and going up, and they circled higher and higher into the sky and started moving toward a new cloud which was forming above them. Ernie watched with fascination and complete delight as they moved away from the earth. Fred looked steadfastly downward, sickened with worry that they might fall. For Ernie, this had been a wondrous adventure. For Fred, this had been another traumatizing event. Both had experienced the same moment in place and time. For Ernie, it had become another awesome blessing. For Fred, it had become another testing challenge. How does this relate to your own life? Consider how like Ernie you are and how like Fred. Realize you can change if you choose, and I am always happy to help. Rain clouds are forming across our planet at this time. They cannot be avoided. So consider adjusting your persona if necessary to better handle the adventure you will shortly, almost certainly, experience. Peace and love, harmony and joy and safety be with you now and always. Peace be within you.